Okay, real talk for a sec. Do you ever catch yourself saying, music these days just isn't what it used to be? Or, movies peaked when I was a kid? Yeah, you do. And guess what? Your parents said it. Your grandparents said it. Every single generation says it, convinced that the music, the movies, the fashion of their youth was objectively the absolute best. But here's the kicker, they're not right. And neither are you. It's not about quality, it's about timing. And your brain, specifically. Seriously, every time you hear someone over 30 complain about TikTok dances or mumble rap, just know they're not judging it on some objective scale of artistic merit. They're judging it against the intensely powerful, deeply personal memories of their own youth. It's like a default setting in our human operating system. We automatically elevate whatever we experienced during a specific developmental window. It's a trick our brains play on us, making us believe the good old days were genuinely superior. And this isn't just about banging your head to Sweet Child O' Mine or reminiscing about Spice Girls concerts. This phenomenon spills over into absolutely everything. Think about it, the movies you grew up with, the fashion trends that defined your school years, even the slang words that only your cohort understood. You probably think those were peak cinema, peak style, peak communication, right? Because they arrived while you were discovering you. They become intertwined with your very identity, which is wild, by the way. So, what's actually happening here? It all comes down to a specific developmental stage of the human brain. We're talking roughly between the ages of 10 and 25. This isn't an arbitrary number, it's a period of intense neurological growth and reorganization. Your brain is basically a supercharged sponge, soaking up every experience and trying to figure out how it all fits into the grand scheme of who you are. And the culture you consume during this time? It gets superglued to that process. Between those pivotal ages, your brain isn't just learning facts, it's building your entire sense of self. It's figuring out your values, your tastes, your place in the world. It's experimenting with different identities, trying on personas like outfits, and seeing what sticks. The music you listen to, the films you watch, the styles you adopt, these aren't just entertainment. They're active ingredients in the stew of self-discovery. They become markers, signposts, anchors in the tumultuous sea of becoming an adult. And here's where the magic really happens, this period is also characterized by heightened emotional sensitivity. Everything feels more intense, more vivid, more important. First loves, first heartbreaks, big friendships, major triumphs, crushing defeats, they all hit harder. And what's often playing in the background during these supercharged emotional moments? The music of your era. It becomes the soundtrack to your most formative memories, getting etched into your neural pathways with extra emotional glue. It's pure, unadulterated emotional fuel. Let's get a little sciencey for a hot second. During this 10 to 25 window, your brain is absolutely flooded with a cocktail of powerful neurotransmitters. We're talking dopamine, the reward chemical, serotonin, which influences mood, and oxytocin, linked to social bonding and trust. When you experience something new and exciting, especially cultural content that resonates with your developing identity, these chemicals fire off, creating powerful positive associations. That song, that movie, that trend? It's literally triggering pleasure centers in your brain. These chemical surges aren't just for a good time, they're essentially supergluing those memories into your long-term storage. Imagine your brain using these neurotransmitters to highlight and bookmark specific experiences as important. So, when you hear a song from your high school days, it doesn't just remind you of that time, it transports you back, often flooding you with the same emotions you felt then. It's incredibly powerful, and it's why those memories feel so vivid, so real, and frankly, so much better than anything else. This is especially true for music. Think about it, music has a unique ability to bypass our logical filters and tap directly into our emotional core. It's often nonverbal, abstract, and incredibly potent. That specific chord progression, that drum beat, that singer's voice, they become direct conduits to specific periods of our lives. It's like a neurological time machine. Other media does it, sure, but music? Music is the ultimate emotional anchor. It links directly to your deepest feelings. During your golden age window, you're experiencing so many firsts. First kiss, first time driving, first truly independent decisions, first heartbreak, first big move. These pivotal life moments are often accompanied by the cultural backdrop of the time. The song playing on the radio during your first road trip? Forever linked to freedom. The movie you watched on a first date? Etched in your memory alongside all those nervous butterflies. These experiences become intrinsically tied to the content, making them feel irreplaceable and, yes, the best. So, when you declare that 80s music was objectively superior to everything else, what you're really saying is, 80s music was the soundtrack to my identity formation, flooding my brain with feel-good chemicals during a period of heightened emotional sensitivity. Which, isn't quite as catchy. But it's way more accurate. It's not a judgment of artistic merit, it's a deeply personal, neurologically driven preference. The idea of an objective best era is a myth perpetuated by our own brain chemistry. Pretty wild, right? Another piece of the puzzle is brain plasticity. During adolescence and early adulthood, your brain is incredibly malleable and adaptable. It's literally rewiring itself based on your experiences. So, the neural pathways associated with that music, those movies, that style from your youth? They get reinforced again and again, becoming super strong. It's like building a superhighway for those cultural memories, making them effortlessly accessible and deeply ingrained. Later in life, the brain is less plastic, making new connections harder. Once those preferences are deeply ingrained, confirmation bias kicks in. You start seeking out and favoring information that confirms your existing beliefs, like how your era's music was superior. You might unconsciously dismiss new music or movies because they don't trigger the same potent emotional responses as your golden age content. Your brain has already decided what it likes, and it's pretty good at finding reasons to stick with that, even if those reasons are entirely rooted in biology, not objective fact. It's a self-reinforcing loop. There's also the powerful pull of nostalgia. As adults, life gets complicated, stressful, and, let's be honest, sometimes a bit boring. Recalling the music, movies, and fashion of your youth transports you back to a simpler time, a period of fewer responsibilities and more possibilities. It's a comfort blanket for the brain, a warm, fuzzy feeling that momentarily alleviates the pressures of adulthood. And because those memories are chemically supercharged, that comfort feels incredibly good, reinforcing the idea that back then truly was better. It's not just your personal brain playing tricks. As we get older, we tend to socialize more with people from our own generation, creating an echo chamber of shared cultural experiences. Everyone around you agrees that their music was the best, reinforcing your own bias. It becomes a collective delusion, a mutually agreed upon truth that further solidifies your belief. You're not just individually wired, you're socially reinforced. It's a powerful combination that makes breaking free from this belief system pretty tough. So, does this mean your taste in music or movies isn't real? Not at all. You absolutely have genuine preferences. But the intensity of your attachment to the culture of your youth, and your tendency to elevate it above all subsequent eras, that's heavily influenced by your brain's biology. It's a showdown between subjective taste and raw neurological wiring. Your unique experiences and individual personality still shape what you love, but the golden age effect is a universal biological mechanism at play for every single one of us. It's just how we're built. This is the wild part, it's not unique to you, or your generation, or even your parents' generation. This is a universal human experience. Whether you grew up with rock and roll, disco, grunge, hip-hop, or K-pop, the cultural inputs from your 10 to 25 window formed the bedrock of your identity and emotional landscape. It's a consistent pattern observed across time and cultures. You're part of a grand tradition of humans who think their youthful media was, undoubtedly, the peak of all human creativity. It's a comforting thought, in a way, knowing we're all in this together. So, the next time you see a Gen Alpha kid rocking some wild new trend and you're tempted to roll your eyes and declare it ridiculous, just remember, that trend, that music, that movie? It's becoming the indelible soundtrack to their identity formation. Their brains are currently being flooded with those exact same neurotransmitters, supergluing those experiences into their developing sense of self. They will, without a doubt, one day argue passionately that their stuff was the best. And the cycle, my friends, will continue. It's inevitable. Understanding this brain science doesn't mean you suddenly have to love every new song or movie that comes out. You still have your genuine preferences. But maybe, just maybe, it can help you approach new culture with a bit more open-mindedness. Recognize that your initial dismissal might be your wired brain doing its thing, not an objective truth. Give something new a fair shot. You might not connect with it as deeply as your formative hits, but you might discover some genuinely awesome stuff. Don't let your brain trick you into missing out. So there you have it, the science behind why everyone thinks their generation's culture was the best. It's not a flaw, it's just how your amazing brain is wired during those crucial identity-forming years. The golden age wasn't an era, it was just the age you were. Now that you know the secret, tell me in the comments, what's the music, movie, or fashion that defines your golden age? And be honest, are you still convinced it's objectively superior? Let's get the conversation going. Hit that like button, subscribe for more brain-bending insights, and share this with someone who needs to hear it.